Hey VC, what's up? It's me, yours truly. I am back to post a quick video here. This is going to be a video response to a question that I wasn't asked. And I think it's pretty much the way that it kind of goes. But you guys know Beth over at B-Side Records. One of the queens of the 80s here in the VC, at least that's the way I kind of see her. She loves her 80s pop, her 80s new waves, her 80s soundtracks, and I totally get her from front to back, which is what makes her channel so awesome. But I saw her actually ask someone else in the VC a question about maybe doing a video of like some of your favorite, blues albums or songs that might be kind of an introduction to blues for people that aren't really into that genre. And like I said, she wasn't talking to me or asking me the question, but I just kind of read what she asked, and I was like, "Oh, I want to do that." I just got like really inspired for whatever reason when she said that. So I just thought, yeah, I'll just kind of make a quick video, kind of showing some of my favorite blues albums, and then also kind of picking out some of the stuff, not everything, but most of it, some of the stuff that I thought would be more accessible stuff too. So someone that might be getting into blues music for the first time, this might be stuff where you may see a little bit of a crossover with other stuff that you like, and you know, sometimes diving into a new genre can be helpful to find that kind of door, that kind of path in. But these are absolutely some of my favorites and artists, as well as some of my favorite songs and albums. And let's just kind of dive right into it. So I'm actually going to try to do something for first here, and I'm going to try to do some needle drops inside of the video. So hopefully that goes pretty well. Even though I don't really have like a great mic, I'm just using what's on my computer, so it may not sound fantastic, but at least you'll get a feel for some of the things that we're talking about here. But let's dive into just some of the kings of the blues, man. So we'll start off right here with B.B. King, of course, one of the big names that everyone tends to know. And this is Completely Well. And, this, and obviously a lot of legendary stuff by B.B. King, but this one right here has what is definitely my favorite song by him, which is The Thrill Is Gone, which is just an absolute killer track. Absolute killer track. So here that is.
Thrill is gone. The thrill is gone away. The thrill is gone, baby. The thrill is gone away. You know you done me wrong, baby, and you'll be sorry someday.
And yeah, I mean, what can you say, man? When you see BB perform that live, and I mean, just man, he gets his eyes back and just starts plucking. I mean, he goes to a special place and takes you along with him, and that track is just killer, absolutely killer. So next, actually, I'm gonna skip over and do this one next. So I'm gonna show two different albums by the same artist, but again, he's one of those just one of my absolute favorites, and it is Magic Sam. This is Magic Sam's Blues Band, and this is the album Black Magic. And again, just one of those just awesome blues players, singers, acts. So just kind of however you want to kind of describe it. And the thing I like about Magic Sam is he comes from a very strong Christian background. So like a lot of singers back in that time, he came up in the church and all of that. And that's one of the things that he kind of brought to the table is he didn't get as gritty with his blues as much as he kind of kept that very soulful spiritual background in the way that he delivered his tracks. So my absolute favorite song, probably by him, period, but definitely off of this album, is the song "What Have I Done Wrong?" And here that is.
Baby, what have I done wrong? Baby, what have I done wrong? To make you back up, darling, and leave your happy home. Oh, I feel so bad. Baby, I feel so bad. You got someone else, and you know it's gonna make me mad.
So I mean, yeah, like I said, just killer track, Ah, killer track. And another follow up with Magic Sam. He has a number of just any album you get by him, you're pretty much gonna love. But this is Magic Sam, Westside Soul. Again, another fantastic one. I definitely want to show this album as well, mainly because of the song "That's All I Need." And again, talk about that crossover element. The thing that you really kind of feel in this track is kind of the really, quite frankly, you see where rock and roll came from. When you really get down to it. So yeah, this is uh, "That's All I Need" by Magic Sam.
When I first met you looked so fine. I said then, baby, yes I did now. I'm gonna make you mine. Just give me love. Oh, give me love. That's all I need. That's all I need. I've got a new home and a brand new car. I can come, baby, yes I can now. Wherever you are, just give me love. Oh, give me love. That's all I need. That's all I need.
So yeah, again, you can really feel that that rock and roll, that early rock and roll element, and it's the blues. That's where it came from. Next here, we're gonna go with the one and only Son House, and this is really kind of where you're getting back into the deep down south, old school, just one man and his guitar, kind of blues, just the deep stuff. And Son House is absolutely legendary. And there's a couple of the main song I wanted to kind of share off of this one is John the Revelator. Um, and one of the reasons I wanted to share that is because if you're a White Stripe fan, what's his name from the White Stripes? He always talks about a lot of albums and stuff that influenced him. As much as a fantastic artist, he's also one that's just really just a gigantic music fan. And one of the things that he talked about was the song John the Revelator by Son House, and just how much that song influenced so much that he has done in his career, and really kind of initially starting his whole career. So he gives a lot of props to this album and kind of that song. So yeah, John the Revelator by Son House.
John the Revelator, tell me who's that riding? John the Revelator, tell me who's that riding? John the Revelator wrote the book of the seven seals. Who's that riding? John the Revelator, tell me who's that riding? John the Revelator, Well, who's that riding? John the Revelator wrote the book of the seven seas. You know, God walked down in the cool of the day, called Adam by his name. And he refused to answer because he's naked and ashamed. You know, I didn't feel so bad till the good old sun went down. I didn't have a soul to throw my arms around. I didn't feel so bad until the good old sun went down.
So yeah, so I kind of gave you a taste of John the Revelator as well. It's just a little bit more of a feel for when he's actually kind of playing and just kind of his sound and his feel. But Son House definitely goes deep. I always find it interesting too that when you kind of look at this album, I mean, I have a poster of this in my other room, and it's sometimes it gets a little creepy just because like so much like soul and passion or whatever you want to say is coming out through that photo. And then it always cracked me up too that when you talk about just like how deep sometimes the blues can get, or even dark on some lines. I oftentimes looked at this album and thought, you know, if you just read off the song titles to a number of these tracks, a lot of people might mistake it for like a thrash or death metal album. You got Preaching the Blues, Grinning in Your Face, Sundown, Death Letter, Empire State Express. I mean, you read off most of those titles, people don't assume Down Home Blues album. But again, it just kind of shows where a lot of that stuff is kind of spawned from. Uh, one more here, which is R.L. Burnside, another fantastic blues man. And it's so nice too because they reissued so much of his stuff on vinyl, and he has a number of different albums out there, so it's kind of easy to get your hands on a lot of his stuff. This is I can't say this is necessarily my favorite album by him because it's really kind of hard to say, but it definitely has one of my favorite songs by him. But this is "Come On In" by RL. And again, he's one that kind of mixes all the different styles. He'll do stuff that sounds very down home, old school blues. He'll do some stuff that sounds a little more kind of up to date-ish, if you will. Some stuff that's a little more kind of juke joint-ish, if you will, which is kind of stuff I like the most. So so like on this album here, the song "Let My Baby Ride" is probably my favorite off of this, which is another, it's really kind of fantastic track by R.L. Burnside.
Don't you let my baby ride, man. Don't you let my baby ride, man. Don't you let my baby ride, man. Don't you let my baby ride.
So yeah, that kind of gives you a taste of kind of that old school, juke joint, get your boogie on, sweaty, funky, just just dancing the night away. And then the last four here, this is where we're going to kind of get into some of the true legends of the blues, if you will. So we're going to start off here with Willie Dixon, who is definitely one of the true legends. You had I was going to say Stax Records, not Stax Records, Chess Records up in Chicago. When in Chicago? Yeah, Chicago. That kind of started out, that really started to bring blues to the mainstream, where it wasn't just a kind of a local down south type thing. And yeah, Leon Chess, he had the vision to say there are some amazing artists out here making some awesome music, and I'm going to record it and start selling it, and that's where you got Chess Records from. And Chess Records not only had a lot of the blues stars, they also had your Chuck Berrys and stuff like that. Some, Etta James and just legends, absolute legends. And Willie Dixon was a huge part of that, mainly because Willie did a lot of the writing, of stuff with Chess Records. So, matter of fact, he did so much, and so much stuff was stolen from him. He even went back and sued Led Zeppelin years later for just so many things they ripped off from him and gave him no writing credit for, and won, big money. So, I mean, he's just, again, if you don't know him, you've probably listened and jammed to something that was written by him and just had no idea. But yeah, Willie was the man. So, a lot of great stuff off of this, an absolute, must have in any type of blues collection. And here's a little Willie Dixon.
You know you shook me. You shook me all night long. Whoa, you shook me, pretty mama. You shook me all night long. Couldn't rest a bit. Well, you just kept on shaking me, baby. Oh, you done messed up my happy home. You know you.
So next we're going to move on to another one of the legends that worked right beside Willie, Muddy Waters. Matter of fact, I think when it comes down to Hoochie Coochie Man, I think Willie Dixon was the one that wrote that for Muddy, and it was probably one of Muddy Waters, if not his biggest hit ever. But yeah, so I mean, Muddy Waters again is just definitely one of the legends. There's so many different things that you could pick by him, but I'm just gonna give you a little bit of taste of "I Can't Be Satisfied," which is just one of the fantastic songs by Muddy Waters.
Well, I'm gone away to live. Won't be back no more. Going back down south, child, don't you want I'm trouble? I be all right. Well, babe, I just can't be satisfied, and I just can't pay.
All right, so next we're going to move on to again one of the sidekicks that on most of Muddy or a lot of Muddy Waters albums and tracks, when you hear a harmonica playing in the background, this is the guy you hear playing it, which was Little Walter, which was kind of Mud's sidekick, if you will, but also kind of stepped out and did a lot of great solo stuff on his own as well. And this goes back to again kind of that good crossover thing, because he had two hits actually, one called Juke and one called My Babe. And I think the song My Babe is another one that kind of gives you a good feel for kind of that crossover between R&B and blues and that type of thing that really allowed that to become like a big hit, like a big radio hit. So yeah, Little Walter again, totally legendary. And this is My Babe.
My baby don't stand no cheating, my baby. Oh yeah, she don't stand no cheating, my baby. Oh yeah, she don't stand no cheating. She don't stand none of that midnight creeping, my baby. True little baby, my baby. My baby, I know she love me, my baby. Oh yes, I know she love me, my baby. Oh
So here's one I actually want to throw into the list as well, and this is kind of more of a recent one. It may be one that many people don't know about, but just when it comes to some of the great blues stuff that's out there, another track that I would like to throw in is actually off of this album right here, which is the soundtrack for the movie Black Snake Moan, with Samuel L. Jackson. I don't know if you've seen this before. If you haven't seen this movie, make sure you check it out because it's a pretty it's a pretty cool movie actually. Kind of creative, but great kind of initial blues album to get because with a lot of the artists you see me mentioning on here with Son House and R.L. Burnside and so forth, though they have tracks on this album, but about 4 or 5 tracks on here are done by Samuel L. Jackson himself. And done pretty freaking well too. And when you see him perform in the movie, it's like, okay, Sam's kind of the real deal when it comes to singing the blues. And he does a great track on here called Black Snake Moan, which is awesome. Just like a bird without a feather. But the one that I want to kind of add to this list is kind of a great one is his version of Allie Mae that he did on this. And again, like in the movie, absolute great performance. But yeah, when it comes to just kind of some initial blues tracks, you definitely might want to check out Allie Mae by Samuel L. Jackson is definitely one of them.
Black snake all in my room. Some pretty mama better get this black snake soon. Black snake is evil. Black snake is all I see. Black snake is evil. Black snake is all I see. Woke up this morning, black snake moved in on me.
All right, and last but not least, the one and only, the big bad wolf, Howlin Wolf, man. Whew, just looking at the picture right there just gives me chills. But again, another guy that was right there with Muddy Waters and Little Walter and all of them at Chess Records, just spitting out hits like there was no tomorrow. I mean, and Wolf, man, he just that old gritty, just God, you can't even describe it. You just have to listen to it. And he had a lot of fantastic hits. Some of his bigger, more mainstream type of hits would be songs like Spoonful, which again was written, I believe, by Willie Dixon, and then songs like Smokestack Lightning, which is uh, probably his most famous song. I would argue. So again, we're talking with people that may be getting into blues for the first time. Smokestack Lightning is definitely the song that I would suggest. And here's Howlin' Wolf doing his thing.
Oh, smokestack lightning, shining just like gold. Why don't you hear me cry? Oh, tell me, baby, what's the matter? Yeah, oh, don't you hear me cry? Ooh, ooh, ooh.
So yeah, I said that's the big bad wolf boy. That dude. And there's this awesome clip on here on YouTube if you go look it up. Smokestack Lightning live. It's like at the BBC or something like that. He's over in England or somewhere doing a live performance, and Willie Dixon's on the stage there playing the bass and all that, and he does a slightly different version of it. And I mean, you just watch a man on stage just spilling his soul out. I mean, it's almost creepy to watch. It's almost creepy to watch. I mean, there's a lot of people that can get really passionate and powerful on stage and stuff like that. I mean, a lot of us have seen great bands that do that, but it's not like every day where you can get a like a Bob Marley, or quite frankly, like a Howlin Wolf. It's just some people, they're not performing for you. They're 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 letting their soul just shine on stage in a way that's almost overwhelming. And Wolf is one that could do that. So anyway, I hope that maybe introduced a few people to maybe at least one or two blues artists or songs or tracks that maybe you didn't know before. That's always the hope. And yes, it's some stuff I definitely love, and I hope somebody finds some joy in it as well. So thanks for watching, VC. Let me know what you think, and as always, we will talk to you soon.